Phew, this was quite the ending to Season 6. Not only do we have a return of Queen Chrysalis and the Changeling Swarm, but facing off against them we have a reformed villain, another reformed villain, a character who never wanted to be a villain in the first place but was seen as one simply by association, and finally, a reformed villain. I have to admit, this was quite a gamble for the MLP staff to attempt. Every last premiere and finale in the series before now has always kept the focus on Twilight and the rest of the main six. So, before I get into anything else, I want to give praise to the MLP staff for trying something very different, instead of relying on what's already proven to be safe and dependable. And with part 1 of this finale, I was blown away by the setup. I couldn't wait to see what they had coming up. And admittedly, the first time I sat down to watch part 2, I was having a lot of fun, but there were a few parts where I couldn't help but ask, really? That's what you're going for? Really? However, I gave myself some time to reflect, and then I went back to watch the episode again, and yeah, it is a good deal better than what my first impressions were telling me. I still don't think everything worked as well as it could have, but the elements they got right, they really got right. For starters, we are immediately shown that Discord's usual means of getting what he wants will avail him nothing this time around. And yeah, shutting down Discord's chaos, as well as even Starlight's immense repertoire of spells, was critical to keeping the tension in the story. I am a little worried that future premiere and finale episodes might need to continue finding ways of shutting down characters which are becoming increasingly powerful, but for now, it works very nicely. Trixie gets to shine with her illusions, as well as sacrificing herself so that others could get to the throne room. Discord gets to play a useful role without his chaos magic, and even has a few funny interactions with Trixie, just like I was hoping they would. They even get to have a mutual respect for one another at the end, and I for one am looking forward to their next episode together. I was even thoroughly impressed with how the changelings managed to capture Discord. That is a very disturbing set of mind games on the spirit of chaos, let me tell you. Starlight's fears of becoming a leader and learning when you need to step up make for an effective lesson. But really, there was no better character to try and reach out to Chrysalis. And in a shocking twist which we all hoped was coming, Chrysalis doesn't get reformed. And yes, I like that the MLP staff are keeping this threat around for future seasons, as it makes her character a lot more interesting. I mean, there is so much you can do with setting up her past, what drove her into being who she is today. Given the reaction of all the other changelings once the truth was revealed, you have to wonder whether Chrysalis already knew all along and was intentionally misleading her swarm in order to keep them in her service. Even Chrysalis's initial reveal to Starlight was, whoa, whoa, whoa! Okay, that is more than just a little unsettling. Yeesh. In fact, this whole finale gives us so much world building on the changelings and their kingdom. Seriously, fanfic writers, get on this. And now, oh boy, let's talk about Thorax's new form. For starters, I like the idea that Thorax was the solution all along. And I can get behind the idea that Chrysalis had very likely been misleading her swarm intentionally. But that design, that color scheme, I know I'm not an artist, but I don't know if I can ever get used to that kind of look. It's very odd. On top of that, we have yet another crisis being solved way too quickly, wrapping most everything up in a neat little bow. Well, except that Chrysalis managed to escape. Hey, anyone gonna try to stop her? Twilight? Celestia? Discord? Anyone? Yeah, I guess we do need her to get away if she refuses to be reformed. More potential for future stories that way. Still, having all the changeling deciding to share their love and immediately become nice is a recurring issue with a lot of stories in MLP, where there just isn't enough time to properly develop such things. I keep wishing the writers would change that in future seasons, but they have been getting better at it, and considering the rest of the series, I really shouldn't be complaining too much about what we've been given. Because despite my initial impressions during my first viewing, after reflection, I do believe this is a very solid finale with a fairly effective setup throughout the season. Could it have been better? More than likely. But a lot of that comes down to how much time the writers had to work with to tell a story, and that, in the end, this is a slice-of-life series with only the occasional adventure thrown in. So, while I'm sure the fanfic writers will have a field day fleshing out these characters and plot points to a more epic degree, I did very much enjoy this out-of-the-ordinary story featuring secondary characters. It was a gamble for the MLP staff to attempt, and I do have to give them credit for trying something new and pulling it off as well as they did. In the meantime, though, I would love to hear from each of you. Now that we've seen both episodes of the finale, did everything live up to your expectations? Which of the twists and turns were your favorites? And what do you think might be coming up in MLP Season 7? I would like to hear your thoughts on To Where and Back Again. And cheers to the MLP staff for another enjoyable season of Ponies. I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.
One does not simply walk into Mordor. Its black gates are guarded by more than just orcs. There is evil there that does not sleep.